Hi guys, this is a hastily put together video. I am really just making this up as I go along. I just wanted to make you aware, if for some reason you'd missed it, of a development that is fairly important to our modding community. Specifically with regard to the Steam Workshop modding community, but it is one that's going to have a ripple effect through the entire community. And that development is the monetization of mods. Now, funnily enough, yesterday I released a video to my patrons discussing this very subject. I had read a blog by Dark One a few weeks ago where he discussed this very subject and he felt this was coming. I spent a few weeks coming up with, my thoughts on this, and then presented a kind of podcast where I listed the pros and cons as I saw it. And whilst, generally speaking, this entire development is making me nervous, I think in the long term it's probably going to turn out okay and maybe even be a positive development. But it's difficult to say. I then released that podcast video to the general public about 3 hours ago, hoping to expand the conversation a little. And within hours, this happened, and we now have it live. I think it was about an hour and a half ago. They made it live. I have had a quick look at this. I have not read everything. I may even read a little with you. What I can tell you is I'll put a link down to this, the about paid content. They're starting it with Skyrim, although I have seen some other games with paid mods, so I'm not totally sure what the difference is. However, with the launch of paid mods in Skyrim, you can now support mod authors that are creating top quality items and amazing new experiences for your game. And the instant they released this, they also released 17 mods. And I suspect these mods were ready and waiting before the release. I have a feeling some of these mods are new, maybe. I'm not sure about these swords, for example. But some of them are old, wet and cold. And I have a feeling that these mod authors knew that this development was happening. In fact, they have been prepped by the Steam Workshop and asked to make new versions so that they would have some paid mods the instant they went live. That's just me guessing at the moment. That's just a guess. But the reason for that is there's a couple of mods I know of, the ones by Asoku, that they're still there. They're still there on Nexus. I've checked. They're there. They're not going anywhere. But the latest version is only on the Steam Workshop. It is version 2 now, I believe. Yeah, version 2. So I had a quick look at the changelog, and there's some fairly cool changes. In fact, from the looks of things, the entire mod's been rebuilt. So version 2 is actually a rebuilt version of the mod. And it seems almost, I'd say it was very unlikely that he just happened to have that version ready to go, and just as he was about to upload it, saw this come live. My guess is this is deliberate. And the reason I'm thinking this is deliberate is not just that these mods appeared instantly, but if you go and click on one of the mods and click on it, you can see there's a debut pack with all 17 of these items already in a pack. This was here the instant it went live. So they had a pack going already from the start. This looks organized to me. So I think, back. That's what I think has happened. I think they've got some new mods, maybe. I don't know whether these are new ones. The weapon mods, they might actually be new versions of existing ones. Midas Magic, let's have a look. I'm going to guess that this is a new version as well. Although if it's not, okay, well, I'll have to check that up. So anyway, so some of these mods look like new versions of old mods, and those versions have not appeared on the Nexus. Maybe they will appear, I have no idea. It could just be that the mod author's not quite got round to it. We're in very, very early days at this point. So that's where we're at. We have got some pay for mods now. most of the mods that I've seen have a pay what you want option. For example, I think the listing price for Wet and Cold is 40 krona, which is about $5 roughly, might be a little more. And you can actually go all the way down to what looks like $1 and all the way up to what looks like $10. I'm not totally sure if I'm getting those exchange rates right. But anyway, you get the idea. There doesn't seem to be a free option. I'm not sure if that's the mod author's choice or the workshop, but I did notice that some of the items, for example, say the butterfly sword, if you go along, it goes all the way down to 2 krona. So it has a different minimum. That's obviously just, what, 25 cents or something. So there are some options on this. So even though the listing price on all of these mods is, say, 48 krona, 12 krona, it is very possible that a lot of these mods can be bought for less money. When I clicked on buy, I got this. Shared button cancel seems to be a little bit broken. And there is a refund policy. If you do not like the mod, you can actually return it and get a full refund within 24 hours. This, of course, means you can test mods out and then just put them back if you didn't like them. So I think that's a good thing. I think I would have preferred it to have been, say, 48 hours, just in case you had internet issues. But still, that's a positive development. I don't know if it's possible. I did very briefly go along to Immersive HUD and see if there was an option to monetize. Not because I'm going to monetize it, because I'm not, but to see what options you got. But apparently you have to sign up for it and get monetization and so on. I will try and do that later and see what options there are and get back to you guys. There is a FAQ. It gives you, there you go. It's easy, just post your creation through the Skyrim creation kit, accept the latest workshop terms, blah, blah, blah. Your mod will be immediately visible in the workshop and then available for sale within the week. Set your own price. You get to set the price. You can specify a set price or choose to sell as pay what you want and let the customer decide how much to pay. This is the question. Can I let them decide 0? Because that's obviously going to affect my opinion. I mean, if I can list a mod for anywhere between nothing and $1 million, then whatever. That's basically just a donation. That's identical to the donation system on Nexus. If you can't do that, what is the minimum? Is the minimum so low that nobody cares, or and so on? So, and there are a few. Can I get a refund? If you discover that a mod does not work for you or does not meet your expectations based upon the description of the mod, you can get a refund within 24 hours of your purchase. How much do paid mods cost? The price for mods are set by the authors and depend on the size, complexity, and the type of content. Unique quests that may contain dozens of hours of playtime will probably cost more than a new hat for your character. Alright. Where can I find the mods I've purchased? In your Steam inventory. Okay, so I can actually purchase them. I think this means I can actually gift them to people. I think I actually gift them. So, can I sell a mod that contains artwork or content from another game or movie? I would doubt it. I'd say no. Can I sell the mods I've made for other games in the Steam Workshop? That's up to the developers, apparently. It's up to the developers or publisher of each game to decide if paid workshop mods are appropriate for their game. So this means Bethesda are on board with this, at least for now. I think I'm going to sign up for this just to find out what the limits are. Can 0 be an option? Because if 0 is an option, then this is going to be less controversial. I mean, it's not that controversial. Well, it's not that expensive, excuse me. If you can drop down to 2 krona. Okay, pay what you want. The creator of this item has set the price as pay what you want. You can click the arrow next to the price to select the amount you wish to pay for this item. All right, okay, so there you go. That's the development. I have not formulated an opinion yet. I do realize that most of the opinions that get written down below are going to be negative because this is a change and people hate change. Try your best not to be that guy. Try your best to be constructive in the discussion. I do know people are going to be immediately jumping on these few mod authors and giving them grief and saying, oh my God, you're greedy, blah, 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 blah. We don't know the situation. For all we know, they've been asked to make these mods by Workshop just so that Workshop has something to sell. And, calling people greedy for selling something they made is, well, I think that's wrong. You're approaching this from the wrong direction, in my opinion. Again, though, I don't want to get into this at the moment because I haven't quite got my head around it. I'm just asking for a little bit of maturity in the way we communicate this, and also a little bit of calmness. Try not to just completely fly off the handle, and let's see where this is going to take us. Anyway, I think that's it. I think that is it. That is the news. It has arrived. It is here, and we're going to have to see how this pans out. I know it's going to pan out with a lot of drama, but after the drama is settled, how will it pan out? Oh dear, drama.